Welcome to Left, Right and Centre. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the programme tonight, amidst a tense standoff between the government and farmers, the Samyukta Kisan Morcha, that's an umbrella organisation of farmer unions, not directly linked to those leading this round of protests, has rejected a 5-year contract to buy 3 types of pulses, maize and cotton at the old minimum support price. The SKM on today evening, criticised the proposal as diverting the focal demands of farmers and insisted on nothing less than the purchase of all crops with guaranteed procurement as promised in the BJP manifesto before the 2014 general election. So I'll be essentially back to square one on the show tonight, a deep dive into the minimum support price issue and a hunt for solutions that make sense. And at 1:30, a new study by the Christian Medical College in Vellore has startling statistical data on the impact of long COVID on Indians, much worse in India than in other parts of the world. We'll be joined by one of the authors of the report and also Dr. Soumya Swaminathan to try and understand what the data says. But first, amidst a tense standoff between the government and farmers, the Samyukta Kisan Morcha, one of the unions involved in these protests, though not directly linked, has rejected a 5-year contract to buy 3 types of pulses, maize and cotton at the old minimum support price. This was one among a series of steps which had been suggested by the government.
किसानों के प्रतिनिधियों ने बात रखी थी कि खास तौर पे पंजाब हरियाणा में धान के खेती की वजह से जो वाटर टेबल बहुत नीचे गया है, उसके कारण क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफिकेशन अति आवश्यक है। क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफिकेशन से देश में अगर दलहन बने तो देश का आयात भी कम होता है, देश का उपभोक्ताओं की जरूरतें भी पूरी की जा सकती हैं, पंजाब का पानी भी बचेगा, किसानों की आमदनी में भी अच्छी मात्रा में वृद्धि हो सकती है। तो हमने एक प्रस्ताव आज चर्चा किया है कि सरकार की प्रमोटेड जो कोऑपरेटिव सोसाइटीज हैं, चाहे वो NCCF हो, नेशनल कंज्यूमर कोऑपरेटिव फेडरेशन, NAFED, 5 साल के लिए एक कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करके NCCF और NAFED गारंटी करेगा कि अगले 5 साल तक जो भी क्रॉप डाइवर्सिफाई करके ये 4 प्रोडक्ट्स बनाएगा, 4 उत्पादन खेती के करेगा, उसको ये संस्थाएं MSP पर खरीदेगी, कोई क्वांटिटी की लिमिट नहीं होगी।
As the political stalemate over farmers' unions' Delhi Chalo march continues, a ray of hope emerged after government offered a new proposal on crop diversification to the protesting farmers of the farmers' unions. Centre proposed that cooperative societies like NAFED and NCCF could enter into a 5-year contract with farmers opting for crop diversification by growing pulses, maize and cotton in place of paddy, guaranteeing to purchase the produce at the MSP rate. In an exclusive interview to NDTV, India's leading agricultural scientist and director of Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Dr. A.K. Singh, said crop diversification is the answer to challenges paddy farmers are facing in Punjab, Haryana and other states.
It takes a lot of water, 3,000 liters of water per kilogram of rice produced, and that has led to depletion of water table in Punjab from say 10 meter in 1970 to almost 20-25 meters in 2023. In addition to that, transplanting as such is a very costly operation which takes about 3,000 rupees per acre. Crop diversification becomes extremely important.
Dr. A.K. Singh argues that growing pulses is a good option for paddy farmers too. The director further said that growing maize at a large scale, like paddy, could help boost bioethanol production in the country and also help attain the ethanol blending target of 20% by 2025.
What are the diversification options that are available for farmers? Among the first and foremost is maize. So when it comes to bioethanol production from maize, appropriate infrastructure, and I think it's a public private partnership or private investment, etc., will come, and people will come with these infrastructure to, use.
For now, the stalemate continues as the protesting farmers have rejected the government proposal as they insist on their central demand of a legally guaranteed MSP for all crops. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, farmers' unions have absolutely rejected all the proposals made by the centre. Is it back to square one, and will we now see many more protests? Joining us now, Anil Ghanwat, a member of the Supreme Court appointed Committee on Farm Laws, Yogendra Yadav, Ravneet Brar, member of the SKM and farmer leader, and Prakash Chandra Sharma, former Vice President of the Kisan Morcha, BJP. Thank you all very much for being with us. Yogendra ji, let me come to you first. One of the basic points that's often been raised is that an MSP for all crops backed by the law and a central guarantee would essentially be ruinous for the economy. How would you respond to that?
Vishnu, it depends on what we consider to be the economy. I presume that people of this country, their well-being, their household income, their ability to live decent life is Indian economy. Unless we all believe that Indian economy is only what the corporates do, what the share market does, unless we subscribe to that silly view, I really do think that something that benefits 54% of this population cannot possibly be ruinous. And Vishnu, I think by now, the one good thing about this MSP debate in the country is that some of the lies of the government have been so convincingly refuted, and some by leading journalists. This whole stupid and complete third-rate fear-mongering that it would cost 10 lakh rupees, that has been completely busted.
10 lakh crores rupees, yeah.
10 lakh crore rupees. I mean, this was a stupid idea, and how the government thought it could get away with such lies. Anyway, let me focus on the real issue, Vishnu. Let's imagine a very simple situation. There is a factory where workers go on strike. They say, give me more wages and limit my working hours. And let us say the management says, all right, we are considering your demand. And after considering their demand, the management says, we have decided to open a gym. That's very good for your health. And if the workers say, but what about wages? They would say, don't you want a gym?
So you're saying that they're diverting the issue. That's the point you're making.
So in a sense, that's exactly what the government has done. The government believes as if the farmers came to them asking for a solution of diversification. That's not what the farmers came for. Farmers had very simple demand. They wanted MSP not to be discretion-based, but to be law-based. Number two, they wanted the current MSP calculation to be based on Swaminathan Commission formula. Number three, they wanted it to be universalized. The government offer has nothing to do with the farmers, what the farmers demanded. So are we surprised?
Okay, just 1 second. Prakash Chandra Sharma, would you like to respond to that, and also to the point, Yogendra disagrees completely, that it might be financially perilous for us as a country to legally back MSPs?
Vishnu, 3-4 things are quite clear. I don't think like how Mr. Yogendra Yadav is saying on that, maybe like he has some political agendas behind it, might be. But one thing is very clear, we all will agree together, agriculture is a very complex subject in India. And in past, we have seen from the independence time till now, what is happening, how is happening, and this particular government, how we have made the basic infrastructure clear out of it. That's number one. Number two, we can't avoid the challenges what we are facing today now, and in futuristic, what we will face it now. So the measure is there, the climate change. The groundwater concern, where the drinking water, industry water, every water is concerned, because giving the proper water to every citizen is quite concerned things. So whatever government is proposing, so there are lot of logic behind it, lot of research behind it, and that is the reason, this crop diversifications, what government is proposing right now. So the reason is there, one, the government wants to make the country self-sufficient, self-reliance on this particular, you can say the pulses part, where the lot of import bills we are paying outside in the dollars. So it is getting impact our overall economy. Okay. Apart from that, the climate change impact, what we are seeing right now, the groundwater conditions, what we right now, and the sustainable agriculture, sustainable environment is the key concern as of now. So one by one, government is trying to address all the things, and this particular concern, because this is a particular all the the people, the leader, the agriculture leaders sitting over there. So they just want to satisfy their present ego, but they can't avoid the futuristic part. That is the reason they have taken the 2
Okay,
days
so the
to
government
talk
looking
about.
at a large, a bunch of issues in the environment. I don't think nobody can dispute that. But Mr. Ghanwat, let me ask you this. It's been 6 decades? No, it's been 5 decades after MSP became, an expectation in this country. The procurement operations for 2 crops are essentially limited to a couple of states, to just a few states. Now, the government, it is argued, simply will not have or does not have the capacity to put something in place for across the country. If we are to guarantee an MSP legally, right, it's just not possible to spend the money, procure these crops and guarantee an MSP. It as a task, it's almost impossible. Is there any validity in this argument?
Of course, it's literally impossible to procure all the commodities that are produced by the farmers at a legal guarantee, because legal guarantee means no private player or a trader will be able to purchase any commodity under the MSP rates. So what will happen is that whenever the prices of a certain commodity falls below MSP and there is no demand for the commodity ahead, then the trader won't buy it, and he will say that it's an offense to procure below MSP or buy below MSP. So go wherever you want to go, and the government won't be in a position to procure all that is under MSP. And the demand is that for all the crops. Today here in Maharashtra, the methi you call fenugreek, it is selling at 3 to 4 bundles for 10 rupees. So that's below MSP. And if that is the case and government or the trader doesn't buy it and the government has to buy it, then what will it do with that produce? So this is going to be a question. I am not agreeing with the figure of 10 lakh crore rupees. That's I don't think it will cost that much. But handling all this issue will be a great thing for the government.
Just half a second. Yogendraji wants to reply. Yogendraji, go ahead.
I'm really sorry to hear such complete distortion of what the farmers are demanding. Let me clarify again and again, we have clarified that we do not want either of the two things which Mr. Anil Ghanwat is talking about. We do not believe that actually simply making a law and making any trade below MSP illegal is a solution. No, sir. This will drive all the trade into black market. We know it. This has happened. We don't want it. That's not the solution. That's not what we are asking for. And number two, government procuring all the 23 crops, all the stock of it. No, we do not want it. We have repeatedly clarified that what we have in mind is a fairly sophisticated version. It's a doable version. What we want is a bouquet of policies, all of which will ensure that the farmer receives the money. Doesn't mean the government pays it. What we have in mind are 4 things. Number 1, more procurement than is being done currently, not all, slightly more, especially in the case of dal and oil seeds. Now, precisely the kind of crops the government is speaking about. Number 2, a very active and well-funded market intervention scheme. Number 3, export-import policy to be oriented for the benefit of farmers. And number 4, a deficit payment as and when, despite all the first 3 attempts, the prices fall below the MSP, then deficit payment. You don't need to purchase, you don't need to stock. I know there are inefficiencies. Farmers don't want to burden the government with all these things. What we want, legal guarantee of MSP, means that the government of India does not simply declare its support, but actually comes to the support of the farmer, and farmers receive what the government announces. Mostly receives from the market, or in the nature of deficit payment.
Okay,
so please
I get that.
To a
the process of payment
proposal
has to be to the farmer is critical. I just wanted to go across to Ravneet Brar, a member of the SK. Mr. Brar, the other aspect of this is that if there is a legal guarantee of MSP, if there is more production, where does one store it? Because as of April 2021, the Food Corporation of India, other state agencies a report I read said, had about 818 lakh tons, but the total stock just of rice, wheat, paddy and coarse grain is almost 890 lakh tons. So there's not even enough capacity. What will you do with increased production? Where does it all go?
Thank you so much, Vishnu ji. Let me start with one thing. हम सरकार से गुड़ मांगने गए थे, पर सरकार क्या बोल रही है कि पटाखे ले जाओ. So there is a lot of difference. The one we are asking and what they are giving. So इसमें बहुत ज्यादा डिफरेंस है, क्योंकि अगर आप बोल रहे हो स्टॉक बहुत ज्यादा है, तो यूएस एंड अदर कंट्रीज हमारी वीट पे निगाह क्यों उनकी है, पंजाब और हरियाणा की? अगर हमारे पास सेकंड थिंग, हमारा स्टॉक सबसे कम है 2017 के बाद. आज जो एफसीआई के पास स्टॉक है नेशनल रिजर्व, वो सबसे कम है फूड ग्रेन्स का. एंड थर्ड थिंग, अगर मैं आपको एक छोटी सी एग्जांपल देता हूं. अगर हमने मानिए 100 केजी कोई चीज प्रोड्यूस कर ली, पर मार्केट में उसकी जो मार्केट है सिर्फ 90 किलो की है, तो ऊपर वाला 10 किलो सरकार बाय करके अपने पास स्टोर नहीं कर सकती. इससे क्या होगा, मार्केट प्राइस दोबारा से वही आ जाएगा, प्राइवेट आके उसमें बाय कर सकता है. तो इसमें सरकार जब उसका ऑफ सीजन आएगा तो उसको उसी प्राइस पे सेल कर देगी, क्योंकि ऑफ सीजन में प्राइस फिर से बढ़ जाता है. सो इसमें पॉलिसीज कंसर्न्ड है विष्णु जी.
No, but you can't indefinitely store crops. That's a huge problem in a country like India.
No, what I am telling कि इसमें अगर हम ऐसी पॉलिसीज लेके आएंगे ना, देखिए जैसे जोगिंदर सर ने बोला कि इंपोर्ट एक्सपोर्ट पॉलिसीज चाहिए, बवंतर भुगतान की पॉलिसीज चाहिए, जैसे हरियाणा और एमपी कर रहा था, थोड़ा थोड़ा किया इन्होंने. उसमें क्या है कि अगर देयर इज अ डेफिसिट पेमेंट, दे कैन ऑलवेज फिल द गैप. अगर किसान को 110 रुपए चाहिए, उसको मार्केट से 100 मिल रहा है, तो 10 रुपए सरकार अपनी तरफ से डाल नहीं सकती.
Okay, one second. I take that. Prakash Chandra Sharma, the other point which is often raised is that let us even assume that the government has the capacity or acquires the capacity to build. What end will that serve?
See, exactly, Vishnu, I was just coming to that. See, reason being for that particular purpose, down the line, year on year, we should evaluate the data, year on year, how government is procuring the things and how government is creating the infrastructure. It's not a nightmare like, one day we will create all the things and it will happen one thing. That's number one. Number two, reply to the Mr. Yogendra Yadav and Mr. Barar also, we should understand why they are focusing on the paddy and this particular wheat. Why not about the other crop and the other farmers of the country? Because government has a comprehensive approach. They should look about all the people. So why no policy should come for all the people? They are just talking about the FCI. Let me tell you, the NAFED and NCCF is procuring all the dal, all the concerned things, and they are just distributing it. So you can see the market flow, whatever the demand supply gap is there, the demand supply, we should know, you have to relate with the production. Even the farmers, particular into the Punjab and those regions, if they are just doing in a particular part, they are not only harming the environment, and they are doing some other show. So whatever the government is telling right now, that is totally based on the scientific things, and we should all sit together and should decide it. It's not a one-day affair. We cannot go and say government has to do this. Government also need to look about the other farmers who are from the other states, what the ground reality over there, because we just want to create India as a country, as a food production hub to supply the worldwide. The world economic change is getting disturbed due to the geopolitical situation. So agriculture is the biggest arm to us to support the world and lead the world. So we should do in a very prospective manner, in a bigger manner. Apart from that, what the rule they are talking about, even we will see in the market the wheat. The millers are purchasing on the higher side. They are supplying on the higher side. So if they are selling on that particular part, and through technology, government is providing a lot of things where the transparency is coming. Just by creating a law and satisfying few people's mindset will not work over here.
Okay, you made that point. Yogendra, let me come to you 1 second. 1 second, sir. I'll try and take two more comments. Yogendra, you've not spoken about the environment, the groundwater overexploitation, fertility of the soil going down, plateauing yields, etc., etc. This is a crisis in the Punjab and Haryana.
Of course, Vishnu. Allow me to say that like the other two gentlemen, you are also confusing the issues, Vishnu. Number one, let us get it absolutely clear. I've spoken that in English. Should I repeat that in Hindi as well? Asking for legal guarantee of MSP does not mean physical procurement of all crops. Can we get it clear? तो you keep talking about stock कहाँ करेंगे, क्या करेंगे? अरे बाबा मैं कह रहा हूँ खरीदने की जरूरत नहीं है. My friend Brad Saab has explained better economics than anyone else. You only need to pick just 5 to 10% of any crop to bring the prices down. This is exactly what Cotton Corporation does in the language of economics because its elasticity is very high. And just minor overproduction can cause huge drop in prices. The government has to pick only tiny slight bit. Number two, did you hear deficiency payment? Deficiency payment does not involve the government procuring and storing one iota, one grain at all. Please get it out of your mind. And number two, environment, absolutely. This is the most important concern. And you know what is the best solution for the environmental crisis? For overproduction of paddy and wheat in Haryana and Punjab? Can I tell you a solution?
Yes.
The solution is MSP guarantee across 23 crops. Vishnu, the real problem is the government says 23 crops MSP. Then they purchase only 2 crops. So if you were a farmer, Vishnu, which crops will you grow? You will grow exactly those 2 crops, and they are called paddy and wheat. Tomorrow, if you start offering farmers MSP, which the government is now offering only for 5 commodities, only to Punjab and Haryana farmers, you start giving MSP to all 23 crops. Farmers are not fools. उनको पैसा मिलना शुरू होगा. पंजाब का फार्मर क्यों मक्की नहीं उगाएगा भाई? वो चना क्यों नहीं उगाएगा? हरियाणा में तो हमें चावल खाना आता नहीं है. हम बेचारे खाम का क्यों चावल पैदा कर रहे हैं? क्योंकि 4 पैसा मिलता है इसके अंदर.
Yogendra ji, one sec. Anil Ghanwat, is MSP a solution to the over exploitation of soil, fertility depletion, groundwater going away? Is MSP a way around this? Because
no, MSP can't be a solution for that. And if I heard right, in the introductory note you had shown today, the SKM leaders were saying that we need a MSP guarantee for all the crops. And Mr. Yogendra Yadav has limited his demand to 23 crops only. I'm an onion farmer.
Please stop distorting what I'm saying. Please stop distorting. I'm simply saying.
You said 23 crops only.
Ganbat साहब, please इतना distort मत कीजिए. मैं इस शो पे हूँ. मेरे को अपनी बात अपने मुंह से बोलने दीजिए. I said to begin with 23 that the government is announcing. आपको समझ नहीं आती मेरी
fine.
बात?
So, Mr. Ghanwat, point taken. Go ahead, Mr. Ghanwat. Yeah.
So. What will happen is that the point concerned now is about depletion of water and environmental concerns. Yogendra Yadav is right that he says that if you are going to procure only 2 crops, there is going to be demand for sowing only 2 crops. But if we are going to procure all these crops, then the question arises about the food security. Because if only 1 degree temperature rises and the production drops in India, there is a instant export ban and stock limits are imposed on the commodity. Then how if the Punjab farmers are going to be diverted to other crops? What about wheat and rice? What about the PDS? And what about the food security of India? So this is going to be an issue once again, because this year we are facing that issue. And what these people are demanding is like, amputate our legs and give us clutches. Because this year, if there would have been an export ban, the Punjab farmers would have got at least 1,000 rupees per quintal. The production of wheat in Punjab is 170 lakh tons per year. So that means that Punjab farmers have lost 17,000 crore rupees in 1 year in 1 crop. The similar calculation is about wheat too. The total agriculture budget in Punjab is 13,400 crores. See the amount the farmers are losing. The 3 laws that were brought in by the government, they would have given freedom to the farmers to export their commodity, because these commodities were removed from the essential commodity.
So that's a larger issue, and we need to revisit those farm laws perhaps at some stage. But for now, there is a chance of this protest continuing for a while. The farmers, at least some unions amongst them, have completely rejected the government's proposal.